at the end of the 15th century and the beginning of the 16th century. The Swahili societies, from Mogadishu all the way to Kilwa off the coast of Mozambique, were at the height of their history in terms of their commercial civilization, to the point that the Portuguese sailors looked at these coastal towns bustling with economic activity, and they felt that, we need to take over. In many communities, land was relatively abundant, and by accounts of missionaries and soldiers, they rated Congo's agriculture as more productive than Portugal's. And in the area of two crafts or industries, one was textiles, the other was iron making. They considered these equal to the best in Europe.
When you look at this phenomenon in terms of planetary history, Europe until 1492, more or less, was a peripheral part of the world system. In that respect, you could say it was relatively poor, and so on and so forth. But that wasn't the case everywhere else. In fact, if you look at Africa, Asia, and America, you will have seen societies thriving in their own terms. Then afterwards, that situation changes radically.
Sa istud vankril, kuhu on kuhjatud kogu su perekonna vara. See on sulle uue teekonna algus. Su isa ütleb, et tal on vaesusest ja elatise maast kokkukraapimisest kõrini. Ta müüs oma väikese talu mõne mündi eest suurmaa omanikule maha ja kõigi su naabrite isad tegid täpselt samamoodi.
That process of moving from a community form of agriculture where a whole village participated in the process and defined themselves as almost an agricultural collective to one in which you have essentially capitalist land holding and individual farms. You can view it either as a land grab by the rich or a process of creating a greater and more efficient system. It was both. What you end up with is an entirely different kind of risk environment. Risk that comes from having to have moved across the country perhaps for a specialist job. What happens when the kind of machine you're used to working on ceases to be the most up-to-date and is replaced? All of that creates a kind of insecurity that is new.
Sa möödud oma linna tänavatöölistest, korstnapühkijatest, tuletikumüüjatest, kerjustest ja prostituutidest. Sa kardad. Turukübaratega tähtsatel tegelastel on nüüd uus viis vaeseid aidata. Vaeste maja on masin, mis jahvatab kelmid ausateks.
One of the great responses to poverty, and urban poverty in particular, was the workhouse or the poorhouse. Most of them start off trying to be punitive. They start off thinking that they're going to have lots of able-bodied men who they can put to work and make lots of money from.
The 1913 Land Act made it difficult for South Africans to buy land. And what it did would be to set aside large tracts of land for white South Africans. Blacks were needed in cities as labor. You did not have to provide housing for African families. You didn't have to pay them a living wage. Women would take in laundry. They would cook food. They would brew beer. That is how gradually we begin to see all these shanty settlements in the proximity of cities.
If you're mentioning the fact that an important number of people have been lifted out of poverty, inverted commas, in China, you need to also take into account the fact that they have had to migrate from their traditional communities in order to work in inhumane conditions in factories in China. I'm sure that working in such conditions is not something that anyone in their right mind would call, getting richer.
Die Geschichte der Armut hat hier eine wirkliche Wandlung vollzogen, weil eigentlich alle Armut heute sehr leicht vermeidbar wäre. Die ärmere Hälfte der Menschheit hat heute unter 3% des globalen Haushaltseinkommens. Daran sieht man schon, dass die Armut vermeidbar ist, denn es ist ziemlich klar, dass man die Welt so reorganisieren könnte, dass die ärmere Hälfte, mal sagen, 5% hat. Das wäre schon eine ganz erhebliche Verbesserung der Situation, die wenigstens die absolute Armut beseitigen würde.
sa annad ankeedi ühele mehele, kes rebib selle sinu nina all lõhki. Nüüd oled sa lõputul ookeanil tillukeses paadis. Sa põgened oma vaesest riigist rikkasse riiki. Ent alla vaadates näed, et ookean on täis rahatähti, mis voogavad su kodumaalt sinna, kuhu sa minemas oled.
Die gesamten Ausflüsse aus den armen Ländern werden auf ungefähr 1000 Milliarden US-Dollar geschätzt. Das entspricht ungefähr 8 bis 10 Mal der gesamten offiziellen Entwicklungshilfe, die in diese Länder hineinfließt. Und ich glaube, dass eine Reform dieses Systems mehr zur Armutsvermeidung beitragen würde als die gesamte Entwicklungshilfe. Die Dinge müssen verändert werden, so wie sie in Washington, in Genf, in den Metropolen der Welt ausgehandelt werden. Und diejenigen, die am meisten Grund haben, auf Veränderungen hinzuwirken, kommen an diese Städte und diese Hebel der Macht gar nicht heran.
Kaugusest terendab asju, mida sa pole kunagi varem näinud.
By the end of the 19th century, there was already a sustained movement out of poverty for those parts of the world that were industrializing. That, of course, begs lots of questions. What about the rest of the world? What was happening? Was it improving their standard or not? What did the colonial era mean?
We see a world of inequality in which you have Europe as the center of accumulation of wealth and power, and the rest of the world being progressively submitted to its rule.
Africa's poverty has deep roots. The slave trade devastated societies and devastated the continent.
Nüüd leiad, et oled oma töökoha saanud. Rikkas riigis, rikkas kompaniis, ühes oksjonisaalis. Kuid sa oled vaid tasustamata praktikant. Sinu töö on oksjonil maale sisse kanda. See on Edward Munchi karjää.
We don't know which way it's going to go. Will the world become more divided? Will climate change, rising world populations, rising tensions, rising inequalities actually create a growing underclass in the rich countries that begins to mirror the underclass in the poor countries?
Pakkumised küünivad kümnetesse miljonitesse. Iga kord, kui oksjonipidaja haamer kolksatab, kuuled sa maali karjatamas ja näed apokalüptilisi tulevikupilte. Maailma majanduslangus, üleilmne soojenemine, ravimatu viirus. Ja siis ärkad sa üles. See oli ainult unenägu. On aeg üles tõusta ja välja minna. Sa astud välja teistsugusest uksest. Sa kõnnid moodsas linnas rahvasumma seas tänaval. Nad marsivad.
There was an idea called trickle-down economics. If you could just get the economy to grow, everybody would benefit. Sometimes a rising tide lifts all boats. That's nonsense. It's not true. Remarkable increase in inequality. So it's not even stagnation we're talking. We're talking about very marked declines of people at the bottom.
Die Frage ist nur, unter welchen Regeln. Was wir jetzt haben, ist Regeln, die von den Reichen für die Reichen ausgearbeitet worden sind.
start off with a problem, and the minute you get the solution right, the middle classes and the rich pile in and take all the resources.
The rich get richer while the poor get poorer.
When that becomes a widespread perception, that could have severe consequences for our economic and political stability.